Hello, everyone, and welcome to the course of Competitiveness, to the first class. How are you doing? How was your work and life cultivation these weeks since the last course? And also, welcome to the new people. Hello. So, this time we're going to do another course about patterns of the consciousness. And in this case, will be about the pattern of competitiveness. I will just go through some basics before we start everything. So if you are completely new to the Ranchway and you don't know a lot about theories, I will recommend you to watch my YouTube videos that are free on my YouTube channel, for Heart Through Self channel. And the ones that I will recommend you most, because there are quite a few already, is the one about hiding and avoiding and the one about trust. Those give you some foundations and basic concepts that we're going to use through this course. And I will not repeat everything because I have repeated that so many times and they are out there, so you can watch those videos to clarify the things. Before we start, we do in all the classes, we build a chi field and we unify the hearts of all the participants, so that can help us to grow and to connect better and to grow in a deeper level together. To build a chi field is quite easy. You just need to close your eyes and follow my instructions. So let's build a chi field all together and unify our hearts. Adjust yourself to good position with your body centered, your spine straight. Look straight forward and slowly draw your vision inward. Close your eyes and relax. If you feel any tension, any discomfort, just send the intention to relax and let go. Relax your head and face. Relax the neck. The shoulders, arms and hands. Relax the chest and upper back. Relax the abdomen and lower back. Relax the hips, legs, and feet. Relax all the body, from the top of the head to the toes, from inside out. Relax your heart. Relax your mind. Feel all the structures of your being completely relax. And in this deep state of relaxation, our awareness becomes alive. Awareness inside of the body. Feel the emptiness and spaciousness within. Bring your awareness deep inside the body, inside the cells, atoms, and subatomic particles. We go so deep, so small, that there is no space for more. And contemplate all the peace and quietness there. The void has no boundaries, no opposition. And through the void, expand your awareness out in all directions, becoming one with the universe. We expand our awareness and dissolve ourselves in the universe. And we become so big that there is no space for more. And contemplate all the peace and quietness there. And bring the awareness back to the body, calm and peaceful. Connect with your heart and open your heart to all the universe with reverence and utmost conjing, or true respect and humility. And let the bright universe nourish your heart with compassion and love. Feel relaxed, free, and joyful. Chi is flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Go deep into your heart and feel your pure heart. And connect your heart with my own heart, and also with Yonsei, Melissa, and everyone in this chi field. Let's connect and unify our hearts. And always remember, the strength of our hearts unified is exponential. So together we're gonna connect and manifest the five shin, or the five essential heart qualities. We start to connect and manifest the state of unconditional trust. And give trust to everyone. Receive trust from everyone. Dissolve yourself into trust and be trust. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional openness. And give openness to everyone. Receive openness from everyone. Dissolve yourself into openness and be openness. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional love. And give love to everyone. Receive love from everyone. Dissolve yourself into love. You are love. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional gratitude. And give gratitude to everyone. Receive gratitude from everyone. Dissolve yourself into gratitude. You are gratitude. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional gonjing, or true respect and humility. And give gonjing to everyone. Receive gonjing from everyone. Dissolve yourself into gonjing and be gonjing. Feel the wonderful five shin in your heart, your pure heart. And in this state of purity, open up and connect with your true self. Surrender to your true self and give it unconditional freedom to manifest all its awareness through understanding, realization, wisdom, all its bright light, clarity, and power. Surrender to your true self. Your heart, consciousness, and true self are now unified. And in this state of unification, open once more to the universe and surrender unconditionally to the universe. Surrender your consciousness, surrender your heart, surrender your true self, so that in each pattern and thought, in each feeling and emotion, in each awareness through understanding, realization, and wisdom, we become one with the infinite love and wisdom of the universe, following the laws of the universe to help us to accomplish the mission of Zido, the Ren. Uplift yourself and help the others. We are now ready to learn together and grow together. We can start to come back and gently open your eyes. Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful heart connection and for building this chi field together. So let's talk about this, make the introduction to this pattern. As always, the complexity of the patterns goes beyond what I can say in 10 weeks or in 10 classes. So all the information that I share with you are pointers to help to gain a better understanding and to know how to work on it and how to transform it, to gain awareness. But is by far complete is not complete information because patterns are quite complex. And it will require almost a full life to transmit all the information that I know about the patterns. So the information will be good, but not complete. So take this into account. In Ren Shui, we have the principle of applying. So from the early stage, you need to apply everything that you learn. How do you do it? By reflecting in your life situations and bring awareness to your life. So when you caught yourself being controlled by a pattern, you have this awareness and immediately do your best to transform it and change it as it goes. If not on the moment, then after. But we need to apply everything that we know. Theory without practice, without the manifestation of what we learn, it's quite empty. It's not a great thing. And it has its own dangers because when we think we know a lot, but we don't have these manifestations in life, we might think that we are superior to others. And we get stuck, we get arrogant, and we don't grow a lot. So bring this principle of applying. As soon you learn something, just go and apply. Another important aspect that we do in Ren Shui is that we have a way to transmit information that is a heart-to-heart transmission. Which is a way to transmit information that is more complete than words. It's like you are able to transmit a full concept, a full understanding and experience from your heart to another person. And if the other person will receive it, they will get this complete information without the need to have a lot of talking. So in the discourses that I do, that is the main way to transmit information. Everything that I will be transmitting to you is something that I have experienced in my life. So I will transmit this experience from my heart to your heart so that you can have all this information without the need to go with all the hard work. In order to do that, the best preparation that you can do is to be in a state of openness or having this 5 shin present in your heart and the receptivity to get the information. Even if sometimes the information can be a little bit, can look a little bit confusing or can trigger something on you, you just try to keep this openness because maybe later after you apply, you will understand it better. So it's important to create this space of openness so that information can flow easily from myself to yourself. So, with that introduction and preparation, let's start the class. In Ren Shui, Yuan Tse gave us the 10 fundamental patterns that are quite frequent and present in almost everyone. Some are more evident and easy to identify, and others are less. That doesn't mean that they are not there. And the pattern of competitiveness is in fact quite complex, and it's present in everyone, even if people don't feel that they have a competitive nature. That doesn't mean that the pattern of competitiveness is not there. This pattern is a very old one and is linked to our own survival as beings in this planet. In the old age, when humans lived in tribes, in small groups, and they have not had the technology and the knowledge to create their own food, their survival was bound to the resources available on nature. And if the year will be a good year with good weather, etc., the amount of resources for humans to survive, food, water, and other things and materials, those will be higher. And normally through those periods, humans will expand. So they will have conditions to reproduce more and bring a bigger number of humans. But then there is the other side, that when the population is growing, even if the year is good, the resources will be limited because there will be no enough resources for everyone, which can lead for humans to compete among them in order to survive. If there is only enough food for 1 or 2 people, and we are in a group of 10, most likely they will find a strategy to compete among themselves to someone get the food. This is part of the survival instinct. Normally, between the same group will be less evident that, but when there are 2 different groups of humans, the competition can be quite intense, to the point that they can create wars and conflict and other things. So since these early days, the competitiveness, the desire for victory and for dominance over the others has been present through the human culture, independent of the continent where we are born or the country. This aspect of competitiveness has been always there. So we can see here that there is a reference on building that pattern, or a little bit more than one reference, but one is clearly evident, is the lack of resources, and I need to be stronger or more powerful or more intelligent or whatever is needed in order to gain those resources. If I win, I will get the resources and the glory of that victory. And people can follow me so that I can establish a dominance over the group, because my skills to win are also desirable for the other people in the group, and they will like to be with me. In fact, we see this a lot in the nature with other beings, with other animals in this planet. that they often compete with each other to procreate, for the right to procreate and for territory too. We see the lions doing that. We see the insects doing that. We see everyone, including the plants, they do that. When there is a very dense forest and the resources are not so much, like the sunlight, if the although it seems a very simple thing, but if the forest is very dense, sometimes the sunlight becomes very hard to go to the soil, to the plants that are smaller. So they start to compete among themselves, and some plants, they even create a way to create toxicity to other plants in order for them to survive. On the more modern and refinement level, this pattern is also quite present everywhere. Since we are born, we compete for attention. If we look at children, they compete a lot with other beings for attention from their parents. Even when they are just babies, they cannot talk, they cannot do much, but they compete for that attention, because if they win that attention, they will receive more care, more love, or if you can say that, but more care from the parents. In fact, then becomes a strategy in the future. Many kids, they create this ability to complain and cry to get what they want from the parents. And of course, they compete among themselves. If there are other children around, it's very easy to see them to compete. If there is just one toy and there are 10 children, and all of them want that toy, is very likely that they will start to fight for dominance in order to get that toy. And this pattern is so deeply ingrained in our system, not just humans, but other beings in this planet, that it has become acceptable. Not just acceptable, but also has been sometimes people instigate other people to become more competitive. And in some societies and some groups, it seems that like this pattern has become one of the main values, which is quite fascinating, because a pattern of the consciousness that can cause harm in life in the long term has become a value that is motivated in society for people to be more competitive and more aggressive towards that competition. The things have evolved a lot, and we see how many times countries have start a war because of competition for resources. But sometimes there was more than they need, was resources to satisfy their ego. And we have seen a lot of that through the history of humanity. Some countries, they just start to conquer other countries, to exert this dominance and to bring their culture there, to expand their culture so that they could become more powerful and bigger than they were towards the others. And we see that like the period of Cold War, that the planet was divided into two groups. They were competing a lot among them for weapons, the race for nuclear weapons. and that requires a lot of energy, a lot of resources, and can affect the possible huge damage in humanity. So there are different ways how this pattern manifests. And the pattern of competitiveness is also different from competition that we do in sports, as an example. People can use the competition from sports as a tool for self-improvement, for self-motivation, for try to raise the standards of our limitations, so go beyond our own limitation to manifest more qualities as human being. Having this kind of competitions is different from the pattern of competitiveness, because the pattern of competitiveness is something that does not let us to be calm or relaxed or at peace unless we are constantly winning in everything. We might not even do competition. We might not even play games or do any kind of competition. It's just a need for us to feel that we win over the others. We create this dominance, this influence over the others. And this can manifest in different levels. And one that is quite evident is the level of physical resources. So competing to have more resources, to have more money, to have more a bigger house or a bigger car, or even have a body that is very beautiful, or having all this kind of, there's nothing wrong to have a house and a car or a beautiful body or something like that. Is the matter how we address those actions. Why do we have a good house? Is for our own needs, or is to win over the others, to show that we have a better house? Or we have a better car, or we have a better this or that. And with that make us to feel superior to the others, to have a sense of I have more value than you as human being. So very often people do that. They buy a lot of material things that they don't need just for the sake of have this feeling of winning over something. Like someone that has, I think was the wife of the king of Philippines, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but once, long time ago, when I was a kid, I heard that documentary on TV that that woman had thousands of pairs of shoes that probably even if she will use a different pair every day, she will not be able to use all the pairs for the rest of her life. Something like that. I'm not sure about the story. But sometimes these things happen. We just want more to win over the others. Or sometimes I have seen that. Sometimes people have a bigger house and they just use like 10% of their house. But they have this bigger house not because they need, but because this make a statement and help us to feel them that have something that win over other human beings, has a victory of other human beings. Sometimes it's not that. Sometimes it's even be the first person to buy the new iPhone or something like that, or cell phone, or and if we look, I don't know how it is in the other countries, but I have seen that in a few countries, including Portugal, that sometimes when the new technology comes out, or something that is excited for people to have it new, even if they don't need it, they make lines like one day before the shop opens. They just wait there, they camp on the street in order to get this, to be the first ones to get this thing, this material need. So there are these different these different ways how competitiveness manifests, sometimes in a very subtle way on the material level. Then there is another level of competition that happen very, very often, is the competitiveness on the level of emotions and feelings. So compete to be more loved than the others, compete to be more trust than others, compete for for many reasons that in some way we try to achieve the satisfaction of some need inside, but we search it outside. Like sometimes we find that the source of love is to please the other peoples, or to do service, or to be successful in work. So we do everything that we can to look that we are successful, or that we are very good pleasing others, or that we are very good to do this or that, just to receive their love. We expect that. That doesn't mean that happens, but we expect that. And that we see a lot in the world. Sometimes people become so greedy for power, not because they really want that power, but maybe because they want to feel safe, or maybe they want to feel love, or they want to be accepted or admired. So they start to compete in this search for power, and sometimes damaging other people in the process, in order for us to have this power, this dominance over the others. And we know how it is in the past. Somehow it's still happening now, but we know that in the past, in the medieval age in Europe, the men used to do those horse fights competitions. I don't remember the name, but they will have this long spear, and they go in a horse to compete against another man, to show that they are stronger, so that they could have the love of a lady. Or they will fight wars to have more lands, more power, so that they could also have the love of someone, a lady, or something else. And all these things still happen. In fact, things that humans do right now, there is a lot of competition in that field. We see the modern way of competition that has a lot to do with these emotional needs that we want to satisfy, because they are so lacking in ourselves, or we cannot access them. In another way is the social networks. Some people compete for having more followers and more likes, and they are willing to do anything for that. including damaging themselves or selling their image, their no, they do some trade in order to have followers and people that like them, to satisfy their need to feel important, to feel someone in this world, which is an illusion, of course. So this level of competition is also quite strong, and or competitiveness, sorry, not competition, but competitiveness is quite strong on the emotional level. From early childhood, where children compete for the love of their parents, until our last days, that we compete also for many things, for our emotional need, like the need for safety, the need for love, for trust, for care, for gratitude, respect, etc. Then there is the level of competitiveness on the intellectual level or the mental level. And this is related with different needs, but has to do with conquer the world with our mind, if we can call it like that, be the best mind in the world. And this is quite amazing. Sometimes it's even dark in that aspect. This has to do with people also trying to implement their ideology, how people should live, how society should be organized, what is the thing. And we see how people compete, like the politics. They have different ideologies, different parties, and they have a very fierce competition among themselves to justify their ideology and implement their ideology in the world. And they do that with the lack of respect of individuals. They just think that they are the best, and they try to conquer the world with their own ideology. But not just on politics, also in science, that happens a lot. In fact, there are many cases where people even steal the research of others in more scientific approval or to get more influence in the world through that. So there is a lot of competition in that level too. And there are other levels that this is a little bit complex, but is quite strong. That is we can call it the spiritual level. And this is a bit sensitive because the deepness of this competition goes beyond any other kind of competition, in the sense that these are beliefs that have deeply affect our Jingxian too, and our spirit, our growth as human beings. And this competition on the spiritual level manifests in different ways, like people trying to impose their religion to the others. Their religion is better than the others. Their spiritual school is better than the others, which is very relative, because many don't have a factual way to prove that they are better or not, because the results of their activity are very impossible to measure. So they promise a lot of things. They say this and that. They are perfect. They are the voice of. They are the real representatives of God. The others are not. They are the ones that have this flag, and they try to win over the others, spiritual religions, and try to implement them in a stronger way with, of course, then the obedience to them. They will exert this desire to win and to have dominance over the others. And if we look through the history of humanity, that was also a cause of a lot of suffering and a lot of struggle and a lot of wars and other things, a lot of hate, a lot of fear, shame, guilt, etc. Because of this competitiveness that is present in these schools of spiritual realm, which is a bit tricky because if spiritual directions are true and they are in the right place, if they were quite evolved and developed, they will not be affected by the pattern of competitiveness. They should be free from that. And for us humans, we manifest the competitiveness in all these levels, in a way or another. And sometimes, or a lot of times, they are just interconnected. Sometimes we compete on the physical level in order to satisfy spiritual needs, or sometimes we do the opposite. We compete on spiritual things to manifest, to satisfy needs on the physical level, or emotional, or intellectual, or whatever. With these all levels of competition, some problems will arise, as you might understand, because there is just one first place. When someone competes, there is just one that can win. In fact, there is even a joke that the second place is the first of the losers. So there is just one place to win. And because things change constantly, no one stays, at least up to now, no one has ever stayed on the top forever. We can see that in sports. Even if a sports person is very skillful and is very good, one day will get older and will get sicker, and their his natural abilities will become weaker, and someone newer will be able to win over it. So it's impossible for someone or something to stay on top forever. But there is just one place for the winners. And how about the other ones? They should experience suffering because they cannot win. How people feel when they try to compete for something that is important for them and they lose. In sports is quite incredible, because sometimes people are watching sports. They are not playing sports, they are not doing sports, they are just watching sports. And their team loses. They can even cry, they can go upset for a week or two, or even more time. Because they need that feeling to win. Why do we need that feeling to win? Why do we need that feeling to feel superior to the others when that is not the reality? Why there is the need to feel that this system is better than the others? There is no way to do that, because that will never reflect the reality. Even if the system is really good, it will be impossible to be good for everyone in the planet. It's like some people like chocolate, some people they don't. So there is not such a thing that a tool that fits everyone and everyone will reach the highest thing with that tool. But even if there is a tool like that, the results will be different among different people, which means that the effectiveness is more on the person than on the system, and they will still compete among them. When the people don't feel this satisfaction with victory, a lot of things can happen, because this competitiveness pattern is very linked to our survival instinct. When we are not able to win, we can experience emotions changes, even physiological sensations, that they are close to the feeling of rejection and abandonment and even the death. In the past, if there were lack of food and two tribes were competing among them to have access to that small amount of food, the ones that lose, they will have less chances to survive. So that fear can come in, the fear of death when we don't win, the fear of not being good enough. But even sometimes when we win, we feel that we are not good enough. But the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear of being a failure, the resentment, the not feeling that we are worthy of self-love or worthy of approval, and sometimes even the sense of safety might be compromised if we don't win, among other things. And that can take us to a spiral of suffering that can manifest on all levels, on the physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual levels. And they can be quite strong. In fact, there is sometimes in sports, this has been shown and manifested. Some very skillful sports person is on a competition and is winning almost, let's say, have a row of 10 or 20 victories, and then they have just one loss, and that loss is enough for bring them down with their own disappointment, resentment, fear, etc., and they will not be able to win again. That has happened quite often in sports. And it's quite fascinating because sometimes the sports people that are on the top in some fields, they are not the most competitive people. They are just doing it because they enjoy a lot to do it. Independent if they win or they lose, they use it as a tool of improvement and enjoyment for doing it. And then because they are so light in that process, they don't have these expectations and this association between their value as human beings and victories, they are able to reach the top. But when there is no winning, when the people don't get that victory, what happened then? When people have consistent losses, they might start to reject themselves. They don't see themselves as worthy of acceptance. And if they are not feeling themselves worthy of acceptance, they become disconnected. They become like machines without spirit. And this can then lead to unbearable suffering. It can take us to take actions that are not so nice. So what can happen with that? Things like jealousy, anger against the people that are winning, another, sometimes even hate can start to come, or negative views about life can start to come. And in order to transform that, because they are so attached to the idea of value associated with victory, they might start to use tricks to win. So how they do it? It could be just using doping in sports, an example. So they start to use illegal drugs to enhance their capacities in order to win, to take some advantage over the others. And if that is not enough, they might start to try to damage the others that are winning in some way. They become a target, the ones that have the victory to be destroyed, the target to be destroyed. And this happens all the time in sports when they cannot win under legal terms. They will do whatever they can to win in another way, sometimes even injuring the one that is winning. But that happens in also other things, like in school, how things can do, like how he says, I don't know, when you are doing an exam and you have something to copy to that has the answers to the exams without the need to use your intellect. I don't know the exact word for that in English, but they do these tricks to be able to win in an illegal way, but they win, or they lie, or they manipulate people. In fact, manipulation is one of the most common strategies to win over the others. People can do like manipulation in an argument because someone needs to be right all the time. They don't want to admit that they are wrong, so they can manipulate the story, do gaslighting, etc., 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 to win over the others. Manipulation, and sometimes even brainwash the others, do all kind of toxic behaviors to win over something, to get what they want and to have dominance. Sometimes how you call it, Can we exert some blackmailing? Is it right? Or even violence or other things can happen, or corruption happens all the time. Why people corrupt others? Because they want to win something. They want something back. Why people corrupt themselves? Because of that, they want to win. When this pattern of competitiveness is strong, people feel that everything can be accepted in order to win. So win at all costs. They don't have any problems to damage other people that are on the same direction to win themselves. To that kind of behavior really brings peace, harmony, love, trust, gratitude, etc. Of course not. Will just increase the suffering and bring more suffering. Will increase the suffering and bring more how you call it, more downward actions of self-damage and damaging the others. So it's quite fascinating that, no? There is a movie, let me see if I can remember the name of the movie, that really illustrates that mechanism that I will recommend to you. The movie is with Ben Stiller. And let me see if I can find the name in English. The name of the movie is Brad's Status. If you want to see a movie that illustrates how competitiveness can be and happen, and how complex this pattern can be, that is a movie that I recommend a lot. I'll just put it here on the chat. Because people then look at all means to do that. If they are not able to win themselves, they do that on their kids or their students and they put them under a lot of stress to make them to feel that they are winning something. In fact, I have seen these situations that the parents want their kids to be the best student in school, to the point that they were being extremely creating an extreme pressure on the kids, that the kids could not bear this pressure. And then, in order to not let their parents to feel upset and and happy, they engaged a lifestyle that was very damaging for them, just in order to satisfy this desire of the parents. Sometimes this will lead to lie to the parents, to fake things, or to even to the children to choose a path that they don't really want to. So this competitiveness comes to this process when we are not able to do something or to win over something. We create an identification, an identity with another group of people or another person or even a country or sports teams that we identify with. So when they win, we have the sensation of winning something, so that we feel more satisfied with ourselves. And of course, when they lose, people get very upset too. Very, very upset. It's a very self-centered pattern, and is a very greedy pattern too. Because no matter how much we win, will never be enough, and it will be all about ourselves. It's also a way to hide and avoid our problems, because as long we have this supply of good sensations that the victor can provide on us, we don't face ourselves. We make our value according to that. People might work a lot to win something. So I'm the best worker, I'm the one that work most, in order to satisfy that need to win. And when we feel this shot of pleasure, we don't face ourselves. We hide from ourselves. And it's the same with the pattern of negativity. When the competitiveness is going on and we don't win, we become very negative. The world is bad, we don't have enough opportunities, the world is corrupt, this is why I'm not winning, this is why I'm not getting the job, the politics are stupid, so my life is bad. And we don't take responsibility for ourselves. We become very, very negative. And of course, competitiveness and a pattern of fixed expectation. How do we feel? When the things go as we expect to, we have the sensation of winning. When they don't, we lose. We have the sensation and all the terrible things that happen when we lose. And about the pattern of overgeneralization. This is quite a good one. So the pattern of competitiveness with that can go have a form or a look like identify. So let's say there is this sport person, and that person is Portuguese, and that person wins something. So we say the Portuguese are great. We generalize to everyone. This is why sometimes some governments invest so much in the competition, sports competition, so that their people feel this sense of value that country is better than the others, or something like that. And it's just one individual that in certain conditions, in a certain time frame, was able to win a competition. And suddenly we generalize that to all the country of that person, or the city, or the group of friends, or whatever. And how about the pattern of polarized thinking and competition? It's the same. This is quite strong. Are we win or not? It's like that saying, the second place is the first of the losers. So is already a loser, the second. The first, are you win or not? Or we have it or not. So that is very strong in this pattern of competitiveness. And you can look around and you'll see that the pattern of competitiveness interacts with all the patterns that we might have. The need for the approval, it's another that has a lot of competition inside. Whenever we have approval, we feel a victory. When we don't have, we don't. We feel lost and a loser. But inside of us, that competitiveness also make the patterns to compete among themselves, and mostly to compete with our true self for the inner dominance inside of our body, of our structure. It competes also with the emotions, with the heart qualities itself. Like our sense of trust is highly related with our performance. If I perform well in something, I can justify to trust myself. If don't, I don't. And the same for love, and the same for gratitude, the same for gonging. Why people are so strongly looking for winning? Sometimes it's just to have respect. So if I win, people will respect me. And most of the cases will not, because sometimes they do, but a lot of times people become jealous, people become against ourselves. We become a target. If we win, people want to win over us. They use us as a reference to what is a target to put down so that I become better than everyone. So this needs, these hard qualities are associated with the pattern of competitiveness, and when they are not met, when the victory is not manifesting, the unhealthy pattern in the heart associated with that quality might manifest. So if we don't win, we start to have doubts about ourselves. I'm good enough? I'm not good enough? Can I do it? Can I not? I'm weaker than the others. These kind of things. Or I don't have skill. Maybe I need to go to another path. I need to do another thing. I don't know. Something, doubts about ourselves start to come through. Our openness too. We close to ourselves when we lose. We try to avoid those feelings of loss. And we might start to hate ourselves when we lose. And don't have respect for ourselves. If this competitiveness is quite strong, normally what we will engage are behaviors that they don't show trust, respect, or self-love at all. When people take drugs to overcome, to win in a competition, doesn't matter if it's a school, if it's a sports, if it's political. When we start to take drugs or other ways to win in a not such a noble way, that is not a sign of self-love. People normally know that those ways will not bring uh, they will come with a risk, with something that we need to pay after. But we still do it. So the competition becomes so strong that in humanity that even change our not change but shape our habits, like small things like diet, the food that we take, the drinks that we consume. They can be quite related with competitiveness. Uh, one that is a classic is when we take coffee to perform better. That doesn't mean that performing better is always competitiveness. It's not. But in certain environments, when we are already exhausted and we need to do something to get the things done and win over the others, sometimes people use stimulants to help them to cope with that. At the price, of course, that there will be damage in their own health. But not all the ways are really unhealthy. Competitiveness, or I will not say competitiveness, I will say more healthy competition can happen. Humans normally they grow when there is a motivation and when there is a need to grow, to improve ourselves. And sometimes competition helps us to do that. If we have the approach to competition as something of self-improving and be always fair with the others and ourselves, respecting the others, respecting ourselves, uh, don't care if we win or lose, that could be healthy. Uh, we can say we do our best and what will come will come. When we've become attached to the result of whatever we are doing, that is not healthy. That will most likely to become competitiveness. It's important that every human aspires for the better, aspires for the grow. But it needs to be done by following the laws of the universe and with the intention of benefiting ourselves and the others. When we go out of that, when we don't follow the laws of the universe, and through that process, we can damage ourselves and the others just for the sake of winning, that is competitiveness. Absolutely. Is unhealthy, is not good. It will just bring damage, nothing else. Uh, Sometimes that comes with a process of how to say this. This competition, this competitiveness can come as a process of bringing ourselves and all humanity down, to have lower standards. If we see in education, now there is so much care to bring the sense that everyone wins, that the standards of certain activities become very low. so that people feel good about they can do it. And lower the standards in life does not help people to evolve. We can see that nowadays humans have never had so many resources and so many access to different things like we have now. Still, people complain a lot about that. And because they complain about how things are, humans create even a better skill to make things even easier. What will bring their skills down? Like one thing that is showing a lot is making life easy is a the in artificial intelligence, to the point that people don't even think about themselves, they don't search for a solution themselves. They fully trust on this thing. They don't do research. They don't care. And they make wrong decisions after. In fact, today I read on a newspaper that in Spain there was a man that wanted to retire, and so he made the question to AI to see if was already good to retire, and AI say that was okay, and he will have a certain salary that was satisfying that was good for him. So he decided to retire without even research about anything else. And because of that, he got his retirement, but the money that he will receive is just 200 euros a month. What he was not expecting for. So this making life easier, bring the standards down to fit the sense that everyone can win, is not good. Is not good. People go to school, finish school, they don't know how to read, how to write, but they finish school because everyone needs to win. So people lower the standards instead of helping to push people to move upwards, to satisfy this ego need for winning. The standards are going down. It's the same with some companies. Some people have companies they are not having very high standards. So they if they will be in a normal market, they will not be able to perform well. So what sometimes some governments do, give them money from other companies or other people that are working that produce a lot of money. They give money to these companies to keep them open because they are creating some jobs, etc. But they are not being able to be self-sustainable. But to make things easier, the system helps them, which of course is good, but will be better if they help them invest that money that they are doing in something that educates them to raise the standards so they could produce more and to bring benefit to themselves and to the others, instead of making things easier for them to feel, for them to have this sense of winning something. Uh, and it's the same everywhere. If we look even to the media, music, cinema, and other arts, sometimes for me, my personal view of art is something that is an expression of a human being uh, that express itself in the way that helps humanity to move upward. That is my sense of art. So art needs to be inspired, needs to be beautiful, needs to break the level where society is and bring them new views in a higher level to help them to evolve. But nowadays, if we look around, of course, not everyone in the world is at that level that can appreciate art in this way. So art has become more an entertainment that fits the patterns of people so that they can justify their unhealthy patterns and feel good about that, have this sense of winning over that. Instead of evolving and growing, they bring the system down to fit their need to win with their patterns. Like I'm trying to find out something, but in music is quite clear. If we look the music in the through the history of humanity was trying to help to create a higher resonance. So from the classic times or the early times when music was created, at least in Europe, music was highly associated with spiritual growth. From those tribes in the past, that they have their spiritual quests, to the more evolved systems when the religion start to come through, and they have also music to help people to come up. If we look to musics from Bach or from Beethoven, that music is quite has a resonance that brings us to a deeper state of consciousness in a higher level, in a higher resonance. But apart from even that music, the musics that were created in the 60s, 70s, they were musics very often that they were challenging the system, the problems in society, in order to bring that awareness and help us to raise our vibration. But if we look around now, there is still this kind of music around, of course, but this is not the most popular. Why? Because there is the business of music, like the business of any art, and they are more interested in selling and getting money than in bring humanity to a higher level. So what they do, they use a strategy that they give what people want. And what people want, they want to feel that they are winning something. And how they feel that sense of winning? By having their patterns winning. How do their patterns feeling that they are winning? Is by having ways that justify the patterns at the level that they are. If, let's say, someone has a pattern of greediness, and suddenly there is a show and in TV that the hero has the pattern of greediness in a very colorful and beautiful way, but there is this pattern of greediness. that person will feel that is winning, that is justifying their sense of greediness, and is good. Greediness is good. There is a lot of things like that in TV that people like. I don't remember the name of the movie. A very famous movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, that he's on the stock market and is based on the real story. You know, when we listen that story and the person, although they were doing wrong things, we feel almost like wanting to be like that person. And if we have that pattern of greediness, we'll feel like we are winning on that moment. So that becomes a way of manipulating and bringing people down, so that everyone feels that they are winning. And even people that are not competitive, so they are not doing competitions or having these kind of things, that they are just comfortable in their house, by having different references that justify their patterns, will feel like a victory. I know some situations where a person, and this is a real life experience that I had with some people, a person has an unhealthy pattern and is affecting all their family. That pattern then shows has a need for control, for having their expectations met, and all these kind of things. And the family says, look, this is a problem, this is not healthy, you need to go to a therapist. But that person, when feels like that, feels like he's losing something. Of course, he's not winning. And it's quite funny because sometimes that person sees a movie or find another person that has a similar pattern, and that person will say, see, this is normal, this is how it is, these are good, and my pattern is justificable, so I don't need to change. So is that healthy? Of course not. But humanity is doing that all the time. All the time. The ones that want to win is not your true self and is not your heart. The only thing in your structure that wants to win are the patterns of your consciousness. Because it's through their winning something that they get reinforced and they get stronger. What feeds the patterns? I mentioned in the beginning of the class that competitiveness has its origin, has a pattern of survival. Survival to fight for resources that could be in different levels, right? So what the patterns do? They also want to survive. What are the resources of the patterns? They become reinforced by being activated. So the more we activate a pattern, the more chances this pattern will have to survive. They have the need to, they get reinforced, they survive if they connect, if they bring awareness to the same reference system that justify their existence. They win if they get more chi too, because the patterns, they use chi. So they need all these things to win over. So they fight for these resources. They fight for bring our awareness to information that justify their existence. An example: the nature of the heart is to trust. And the heart can do it without conditions, can do it, can be in a state of trust, even when people are lying to us, betraying us, and doing wrong things to us. The heart can do that. But can the patterns allow that to happen? Of course not. Because if our heart can trust when people lie to us, there will no, or things don't go the way we want, there will be no big reason for the pattern of fixed expectation to exist, right? If you can trust whatever situation you are, doesn't matter if the situations go as you want or not, what is the point of having a pattern of fixed expectation? Or if you have a strong self-love, what is the sense of having a pattern of searching for approval? There is no sense for those patterns to exist. So these patterns fight for the dominance of bringing our awareness to certain types of information that reinforce them and make them stronger, which makes us to lower the standards of how we see life and what kind of resonance we manifest in life in order to fit those patterns. If we have a pattern of negativity, how this will get reinforced? By seeing all the negative things around the world. There is an accident, our awareness, this pattern will bring immediately the awareness to this accident. Someone tell you 1,000 good things about you, but says something that is not bad, but is not so good like the others. Your awareness go to that thing and will perceive it as something bad and will reinforce the pattern. The patterns, they do whatever they want to survive. In fact, they are the only part in ourselves that is competitive. Trust is not competitive. Neither openness, love, gratitude, or kanji. And the true self, even less. The true selves don't compete among themselves with anything. So, what is competing in you? And why is there a competition? Is helping you to uplift your life or to lower the standards so that your ego feel that you are great, that you win? There was a group of comedians in Portugal that they were quite funny. They were doing some sketches And one of them was that a man that was very proud of himself because he was the greatest person in his village. I don't remember exactly the sketch, but I think that he became the greatest person in his village by eliminating the others, not by raising his abilities or standards, but because the others went away. Why do we need to have this sensation of winning? And why we are so attached to that? Why we have this need to feel that we are in control of the things? Certain control is a form of competitiveness. We see that a lot very often in couples, that there is a fight for dominance inside of the couple, which is not good. That will just create damage. Like that, the couple will have someone that is in dominance and the other that is more submissive. But that does not lead to the growth of the couple as individuals and as a couple itself. Of course, it's not a problem taking leadership sometimes for one or the other, but the problem comes when are competing for power, and how they do it by controlling the other. And humans are not the propriety of another human being to be owned and controlled by another person. This is different from leadership. Leadership, if it's done properly, is a good thing. But fighting for dominance is another story. Why do we become so attached to winning? Why do we become so avoidant to lose? What do you really lose when you lose? And what you really gain when you win? Who is behind it? What is the need behind it? Can you transform it in another thing? Can you go through your life without the pattern of competitiveness? Because people believe that the world is like a jungle, that only the strongest survives. But that is not true. And we go to this jungle without having the pattern of competitiveness? Can we go to a competition without having the pattern of competitiveness? My experience says yes, absolutely. If we have the right approach to life, even the lack of resources could be a great opportunity to grow ourselves and help the others. That can create evolution. In fact, uh, when people cooperate, normally they get better results than when they compete. In the past, there were a lot of uh, martial arts people. They were thinking, what is the system, the better system? So there will be representatives of people uh, with their own very specific system, without mixing it with anything, fighting other systems to check what was better. Then a group of people start to change the mind. Instead of being so radical and so strict, they decide to cooperate. So bringing different martial arts, cooperating among themselves, and create something specific for each athlete to compete. And when that happened, they become better than the others, than the ones that were just doing a unique system. Cooperation could be a good way. But what is important is always to look at this aspect, to never forget from where this competition comes from and what is winning with this competition, what is being reinforced, what are you gaining, what are you losing. In a very simple way, oversimplified way, every time that the pattern becomes reinforced, so every time that the pattern wins, the true self loses in relative ways, of course. So if the patterns become stronger, our access to the true self will become more difficult. If the patterns become stronger, our access to the heart will become more difficult too. You might say that you don't have competitiveness inside of you. But if you look deeper, you'll find it. Sometimes comes with the process of having an argument, and you will not stop this argument, even if you keep it after in your mind until you win. It could come with something. You have an argument with a person, and through that argument, through the discussion, that person wins over you. And on the surface, it looks like you accept the other person. But then when you leave, your mind keeps ruminating in the subject. Try to find a way for you to win. That is competitiveness working inside of you. How much time and energy we lose with that instead of making something that is beneficial for us, just for the sake of winning. Sometimes we might not even sleep with that. Sometimes we might start to even manifest health problems because of that. So I invite you to look deep to those aspects and to those questions to see where to understand competitiveness inside of you, so that we have a solid foundation to start to keep going to do the rest of the course. It needs to be very realistic to understand where you are now with this pattern to move forward. And be careful, because if you are not able to see competitiveness inside of you, could be because your pattern of hiding and avoiding is out there and is hiding it and is winning that pattern itself. In the stronger or less stronger sense, everyone has competitiveness inside of them, because it's so present and so deep, even in our genetic code, that is almost impossible for us to escape from it in society, everywhere. Okay, so that is all for this introduction. Let's do an integration of the information with our hearts. Adjust yourself to a good position with your spine straight. Look straight forward and bring your awareness inward. Close your eyes and relax. Relax. Go deep into your heart and connect with trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gonjin. With your 5 shin, open up to all the chi field and positive information, and connect with all the positive, useful information with the 5 shin. Open your arms to the sides, palms facing forward. Embrace all the chi field and positive information, and slowly bring it back to your heart. And put the hands in your heart. Hands to the sides. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you, everyone, for your participation and for being part of this G field. So next Tuesday you will have the Zoom meetings. You are very welcome to participate on them. You'll have a question and the links that I will send to you in the following days, or maybe tomorrow, not the following. Today is already Sunday. But I will send it tomorrow, the links for you to access to these Zoom groups. There will be 2 groups. In the Portugal time, will be one at 8 a.m., another at 5, and another at 8. Sorry, one at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. And you are very welcome to participate on them and meet and connect with other participants of this course. This time the course, the dates are a little bit unusual. Normally I used to do the classes every Thursday. This time, because of some events that are happening in my life, I need to adapt and have the classes in different day. So have this awareness and check the days of the classes on the email and the message that I send already, and I will keep sending them. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Wish you a very good start of this week and see you soon. Bye bye.